Yo, what's happening, people? It's your boy Griggs, and welcome back to Griggs Talks. Welcome back to another weekly video where we talk about what Manchester United did over the weekend, which was pretty much the same old, except we did get a point this time and we did not lose. So, 1 point gain, one step closer to 40 points. I don't even know how many points we're at right now. Actually, let me check the table real quick before I start waffling. We are at 30 points. We are 10 away from the 40 mark. Anyway, but yeah, welcome back. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. You guys know the drill, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, this is probably what's going to be the routine on the channel from now on. For the meantime, video every Monday, maybe a Wednesday. Obviously, I know we play this Wednesday, so maybe we'll get a video out then and there. And then maybe some pre-recorded content if I choose to make some. Because I'm not going to lie, right now, United just keep draining the life out of me when it comes to football. And yesterday, I had a tweet where I said, I need to start ignoring United when it comes to football, and just start focusing on the good things in football. Yesterday Neymar scored an Olympico goal in Brazil. Had 2 assists off corners. Got the crowd chirping on him, and he kind of played the villain role. You got the Champions League draw, which was fantastic on Friday. PSG versus Liverpool. I know we talked about that last week. What else? You got the Madrid derby, Bayern versus Leverkusen. Europa League, United are playing Sociedad, more trips to Spain, yay. Olympiacos, I think, have Bodo Glint. You have the Serie A title race, Inter Napoli and Atalanta, I think, are within 3 points of each other. You got the La Liga title race between the two Madrid clubs and Barcelona. There's a lot to talk about in football. And you know what? United should low-key be on the lowest of my priorities because, at the end of the day, I'm a football fan first, and then obviously United are the club I chose to support, through the thick and thin, unfortunately, but it is what it is. But yeah, basketball is not going well right now. We're not gonna talk about the Knicks because they're atrocious. So yeah, but yeah, over the weekend, of course, we played Everton in what was a 6-pointer because I think we're literally 1 point off each other, and it was resulted in a 2-2 draw. If y'all can say, yeah, we're gonna talk about that, all that kind of stuff. Well, yeah, it was a 7:30 kickoff, which of course was fabulous from the Premier League to make me wake up at 7:30 before work to go watch Man United play. But yeah, and honestly, it was pretty much the same old from United. There's nothing new that I could really talk about in terms of the lineup. Ugarte Casemiro pivot. Anyone could have told you that pivot would have been shit. It doesn't take a genius to say that. I could have told you that. My 3-year-old godson could have told you that. 75-year-old Leslie that watches games with Saeed could have told you that. Anyone could have told you that pivot would have not have been good in a Premier League match. At center back, I think it was Mazraoui, Maguire, De Ligt, Onana, and goal. Wing backs, Dorgu again at left wing back, Dalla at right wing back. Can't really expect anything different. And then I think the front three was Højlund, Xerxes, and Bruno, which again, I call them the Terror Twins up front at this one because they won a combined 1 out of 20 duels. They lost 19 duels and they won 1. That is what my 120 million pound striker combo got me against Everton Football Club. That was the result of that. And United were down pretty early. And for that first half, we're absolutely atrocious, as we have been in every first half under Ruben Amorim, it feels like, because we have not scored an open play goal in all competitions in the first half since December 7th. Ladies and gentlemen, the day is February 24th. Spring is in less than a month. So the last time we scored an open play goal in the first half in any competition, it was December 7th. Winter had technically not started. We're now less than a month away from spring. We're about 3 weeks away from spring. And United might go a whole season, not football calendar-wise, regular calendar-wise, a whole season's worth of not scoring an open play goal in the first half. The only goal we have scored in the first half under Ruben Amorim since December 7th has been a Bruno penalty against Brighton. That is it. And you know what? At least in the beginning, we're decent in the first half. So we're missing a lot of opportunities. Now, if you look at our XG in first half games, other than the Spurs game, which I think we had good chances, especially that Garnacho missed, our XG in first half is about 0.004, 0.002, 0.008. If we're lucky, we get to 0.10. It's that bad in the first half. There's just no cutting edge. There's just nothing. And, when I look at that front three on Saturday, I don't even like Alejandro Garnacho. But from the first minute of the match, I was missing him because, like it or not, he is the only player in that front three that will run in behind, that can get the ball, that can carry the ball a little bit, get you, quote-unquote, a first down, just be offering as a threat to the opposition. The opposition doesn't fear him much, but he's still a nuisance. Ain't no one scared of Hoyland. Ain't no one scared of Joshua Zirkzee. And Bruno Fernandes in this system has clearly been better, in my opinion. With this current attacking crop, I think he's better as a deeper midfielder because he'll get more on the ball and he'll have more space to utilize and be better. Because when he plays in that front three, there's no plan for him. There's nothing for him to pass to, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, United were neutralized very, very simply, very quickly. I think Everton knew what to do, which was basically when we're building up, just do a man-to-man press, and we're just gonna go long, and we have no one for the ball to stick to up front because Hoyland just has no first touch. Our midfield was just two shin kickers that don't know anything about passing the football. And I don't care that Ugarte scored a goal. He was abysmal throughout that whole match, and I still continue to think that he's 60 million pounds worth of nothing. And we're going to talk about why I'm saying 60 million pounds, because our ownership group today, Man United specifically, came out with a statement talking about further transformation when it comes to budget cuts and all that kind of stuff, and how 450 people will be losing their jobs. And my question is Greg's salary in the IT department at Manchester United worth sacrificing because INEOS wanted to spend 60 million of the Queen's finest pound on Manuel Ugarte this summer when we didn't really need to do that? Because of my issue with Manchester United, and I'm going to talk about the summer real quick because forget about the game. The game was bullshit. Who cares? In the summer, you clearly know we knew finances were very, 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 very bad in the summer. We're coming off an 8th place finish, didn't qualify for the Europa League, won the FA Cup, but very minimal money. Got knocked out of the Champions League group stages, which lost a lot of money in terms of TV revenue, all that kind of stuff. Blah, 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 all that finance talk. So the money was clearly tight. So you go into a summer. And in my opinion, I would have been perfectly fine if Manchester United this past summer went up and told fans, money's tight. We really can't spend that much money. We shouldn't really do risks. Maybe go with a safer approach. Because honestly, what would have been the difference this season if we didn't sign Ugarte to 60 mil, the Ligt to 45 mil? Really, what would have been the difference? Would we be 16th place? Because we're 15th. There's not much lower we can generally go. So if you don't sign these players, how much better do you generally get? No, I do not rate Stefano Tsitsipas. I think he's the biggest mental midget in all professional sports. Also, what's up to JJ? What's up, Ozan Kabak? What's up, Simon? Staffy hype. Don't even care about Staffy. Staffy's crashing out because Carl Anthony Towns is the bum. Anyway, so this past summer, they could have just come up to be like, yo, we really can't spend money right now. It probably wouldn't be wise to spend money. Let's not take risks in the market. Let's focus on selling players and then maybe address that and, maybe go more of a rebuild route. Instead, what do? We waste 200 mil in the summer. You spend 60 mil on Ugarte. You spend 60 mil on Lenny Yoro. You spend 45 mil on Matthijs de Ligt. You spend 13 on Mazraoui, which is, honestly, that's fine. Whatever. Go. You know what, Staffy? Go enjoy some loser pizza with Carl Anthony Towns, bro. Give it up, man. And then Joshua Zirkzee for 45 mil. And so far, out of these signings, generally, outside of the Mazraoui first 3 months, where he was really, really good in a 4-back at right back, none of these signings have hit. Lenny Yoro obviously is a future investment, all that kind of stuff, and you hope that he'll eventually turn into the prospect that he's meant to be, which is fine. Ugarte is useless. Joshua Zirkzee, no disrespect, is virtually useless half the time. Matthijs de Ligt is useless 75 to 80% of the time. What else did we sign? Is that it? I think that's it, right? I don't think we signed anyone else. Yeah, that's it. Sekou Kone obviously is an academy signing, all that kind of stuff. So you spent all that money. And then not only that, then you decided to keep the coach that Varane actually came out. I think I recorded the last video before Varane's interview where he's like, Varane was very, very shocked that Ten Hag kept his job because he had lost the players. Yeah, I said Mazraoui 13 mils calm. Whatever. That's a nothing signing. That doesn't really impact you financially. Yeah. Mount, another virtually useless bro. So it's just all this money getting blown. And you know who the real victim in this is? It's Greg, the IT guy. That is the real victim in this situation. Greg, the IT guy, is about to lose his job at Manchester United because The Glazers had spent £1 billion on nothing, and then INEOS decided to double down on that, and spend 200 plus mil on virtually nothing. And not only that, then they kept Ten Hag and renewed his contract extension, which cost them money because they could have just let him go. His contract had expired. Everyone would have been calm. You go get another coach. Instead, what do? They renewed his contract, and sacking him cost much more money than if they sacked him originally. And after Rafael Varane said that the group of players had pretty much they had lost the players, how do you keep a coach when the players don't even want him there? That makes no sense. Anyway, but they're gonna say player power, all that kind of bullshit that they say. So you do that. Then you also, during that calendar year from January to, let's say, May, June, July, you spend 6 months chasing Dan Ashworth. And then you sack Dan Ashworth about 3 to 4 months into his job. So you spent all that time triggering a release clause when you could have just went and got another director of football. So you do all that, then you sack him. And in my opinion, I think this really should have been what United did. United should have just kept it with an interim manager for the rest of the season, but they didn't. They went and got Ruben Amorim. So you played a guy's release clause and his whole staff exit clauses in the middle of the season. Didn't allow him to come in the summer that he wanted to. Made him join the club in November, I think it was. And then you made him suffer by not really investing in. You don't got him really Dorgu. And now it's clear that in the summer, I don't think we're going to see much investment. And then you cut the squad down, basically send people out on loans, which are nothing loans, really, in my opinion, outside of maybe Marcus Rashford's loan, because you need him to kind of really get his value up, because he's probably one of your most sellable assets. What's the Anthony loan going to do for us? Really nothing. You send him to a club that's not going to buy him. You're not doing anything. Nah, bro. Honestly, I think INEOS are out of the depth. I think generally everyone at Manchester United is out of the depth, because I don't think there's really anyone, honestly, obviously, like we said, Qatar came in and basically just threw $1 billion right away and said, fuck the debt, all this, yada yada. But I don't even think that's financially possible in the Premier League. But anyway, I don't know all the laws in the financial, like, politics, all that kind of stuff. But for me, I think INEOS from the beginning of the summer started handling things wrong, and they do not have the money to kind of navigate through this and find an escape plan. Omar Barada can keep telling me about Vision 2028, brother. I don't care about Vision 2028. I'm trying to survive 2025, because it is February 24th in 2025, and I don't see United surviving 2025, because we're not going to get European football. Because let me tell you something, anyone that has any visions of winning the Europa League, let me tell you right now, spoiler alert, it's not happening. We are not winning the Europa League. First of all, I don't even think we're going to beat Real Sociedad. And if we do somehow manage to beat Real Sociedad, do you think that this club can go beat Lyon? I don't think so. The only reason I will be there for Lyon is for the Ryan Cherki audition. That's about it. But even then, it's not really an audition, because we're not going to sign him. Because how many times in the past year and a half, 2 years, I've been saying audition. That player never joins me. It never happens. So what's the point of me getting my hopes up? Honestly, I think Jim Ratcliffe's coolest. And then today we're talking about players. They're shutting down the canteen to save $1 million. So players are just going to have soup and sandwiches. Yo, great nutrition plan for players. Absolutely great nutrition plan for the players. Genuinely amazing. British soup and nice little grilled cheese sandwiches, bro. I got better food at school on a campus. Genuinely, this is £1 billion organization, and the lunch for players, staff members' lunch is about to get cut too, unless those guys were ordering Nobu and spending £1,000 every day on food. What does this help? Generally, what does this address? Because all you're doing is creating a negative workplace culture. And if you think that does not spread across the club and also does not impact on the pitch, you're having a laugh, because it does have an effect. Manchester United have officially, like, before you can maybe argue something like that, in my opinion, Man United are officially the laughingstock of the Premier League. It's both, JJ. Players and staff, they're shutting down the canteen for every single person at Carrington. Every single person, bro. 15-year-old Shea Lacey is just gonna have to have a grilled sandwich, bro. I need Shea Lacey to buff up. You think he don't got to bulk? You think just doing bicep curls is gonna help the bulk? Now he's got to eat right. Instead, what he's gonna be eating? He's gonna be eating chicken broth and grilled cheese sandwiches. Bro, someone said Jim Ratcliffe is Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob. They might be right. What are they cooking? And I'm not saying this is all Ratcliffe's fault. Obviously, this is all a recipe of what the Glazers have caused at Manchester United by running the finances to the floor. But he is not helping matters. He came into this football club saying, I'm going to put the Manchester back in Manchester United. Well, Manchester United at their peak was known for being a family club, all this kind of stuff. Everyone wanted to be at Manchester United. There's not a single person that wants to be at Manchester United right now. I don't want to be at Manchester United, bro. I wouldn't want to be involved with that football club. No one wants to be. Now they're apparently cutting budgets with the Manchester United Foundation. Budgets getting cut every single place, left and right, center. It's generally a dark place to be right now. And if I don't understand how this is going to help with the transfer policy, because if you want to recruit, because honestly, to get better, we have to recruit the best. We don't have the money to pay the best. So basically, your hope is going to have to be a Chelsea, and you go get young kids that you just hope hit the floor running and become really, really good. For that, you need a good coach. We do not have a good coach because I have said, in my opinion, with Ruben Amorim, I think he's also he's out of his depth as well. I don't think he'll make it at Manchester United. Now, that's not just me hating on him. I think tactically, from what I keep seeing, it's not obviously the personnel. Again, last week we had a whole hour speech talking about the issue between personnel and the difference between it just being a personnel issue and then also a player issue, a manager issue, a coaching issue. I think tactically, from what I have seen from Ruben Amorim, I think tactically, right now, he's not cut out for it because I think his tactics, first of all, they got clocked so quickly in the Premier League. So quickly. Managers knew how to play against him very, very quick, very quickly. And that three at the back, and I don't think three at the back is the main issue. I think it's his utilization of the three at the back. Again, constantly, the inverting of the center back into midfield in build-up. Basically, the central center back is just standing in the middle and just basically locking the lane for central progression because who we have as central center back is a guy that's not really mobile in Harry Maguire or Matthias Lig. Neither of them can really turn with the ball, all that kind of stuff. You'd have to play Lenny Euro there if you really want anything. So because of that, because by blocking the central progression lane, then you have to build out wide. You have to build from your wide center backs. Lisandro Martinez is no longer there. And even when Lisandro Martinez is there, it still wasn't really good enough. And he's basically a cheat code in build-up play. So you have to go long. And then who do you go long to? And even that, in the Premier League, I don't think going long is a long-term answer because it's too physical, bro. The center backs are only getting more physical. It generally makes no sense. We look worse in build-up than we did under Eric Ten Hag. That is a factual statement in my opinion. We look worse in build-up under Ruben Amorim and Eric Ten Hag. And you can't say player issue because it's the same players. It's the same players. Attacking-wise, we have zero goal threat, and we keep playing. Dorgu was exciting on Saturday. I'm not gonna lie. Dorgu is basically the one bright spark right now, which is really, really good. And now, also, in my opinion, I think he wasn't really a system signing. I think Dorgu can play left back and a four at the back. I think he has every physical tool possible to be a fine left back defending, and obviously attacking wise, it's his strength. And one thing I like about Dorgu is he's not really your 1v1 kind of fullback. He's your giving goals, which I love giving goal fullbacks. I really do. That's why I like Luke Shaw all the time at United. The way his ability to do 1-2s and then the overlap, the combination with the left wingers, which is why I promise to not really speak about Marcus Rashford today, even though I want to do victory laps like crazy after what I saw on Saturday. But nonetheless, whatever. It's like beating a horse with a dead horse with a stick. It is what it is. But I think systematically we have issues at Manchester United, and then you have players that are basically devoid of all confidence. There's not a single player in the team that has any single level of confidence, except maybe Dorgu, right? But then, like JJ mentioned here, not gonna hype Dorgu because we all know the United curse. In a month's time, Dorgu is gonna be looking probably just as shit as everyone else because it's a culture, it's a toxicity. My bad. Ratcliffe cut my mic too. Budget cuts. Budget cuts. Is it better now? Is it better? Can you guys hear me now? Yes. All right, bad. My bad. Budget cuts. It's tough times out here. Ratcliffe. He made his way onto Grix Talks and he cut my mic too. Can't be talking too much. Yeah, but budget cuts, man. You know what, man? My bad, Ratcliffe. My bad, bro. It's tough times out here. Tough times. But yeah. Yeah, you just found my crib. But yeah, man, it's honestly it's really bad right now, man. It's you really have nothing to just like. There's nothing to be happy about. Like, there's not even a single player. Like, you know what? At least Ahmad maybe. I was like, I would just tune in just to watch Ahmad. I don't have Ahmad anymore, man. I don't have Manu. I don't have anything. Dorg was exciting, but at the end of the day, it's not like his game is like. Bro, a fullback cannot be your most exciting player. If a fullback's your most exciting player, pack it up, bro. Give it up. That's when you give it up. That's generally when you give it up. So, yeah, man. You know what? I saw 20 minutes of Cheeto, and you know what? Cheeto won more duels than the Terra Twins up front. He won 2 duels on Saturday. That's one more than the Terra Twins in 20 minutes. Just 20 minutes, and he won more duels. And honestly, against Ipswich on Wednesday, which is no longer the Griggs Derby because both teams are probably going to get relegated at this point. I want to see Cheeto start against Ipswich. Now is the time to start him. And this is where I talk about Amram because honestly, in my opinion, with Amram, I don't really see a way for him to really make it at this football club. Especially like it's not just because of his coaching. Like I mentioned, the club have no financial strength right now. And in my opinion, for his system to work in the Premier League in the way that he wants to implement it, he needs high level quality players. Manchester United at this current moment cannot recruit high level quality players. So the only way out of this is, in my opinion, to go to the kids, to use the academy, use it to your strength. You have players that are hungry, don't have that baggage as of right now, and let them lift the mood at Manchester United. That's what you need to do. You need someone to literally lift the mood at Manchester United. Cheeto is an option. Sekou Kone is an option. Literally, what do you get from Casemiro playing on the pitch? You get nothing. Casemiro being on the pitch is only a detriment to myself, to anyone's eyes, including Amram's eyes, to the fans' eyes, to Saeed's eyes, to Staffy's, to everyone's eyes, bro. It's a detriment to our eyes. The Daily Mail last week said Casemiro said he wants to stay. The Daily Mail said big blow to Manchester United. Casemiro wants to stay. It's not a positive. It's a negative. So what's the point? Use the kids. Use the academy. You need something to motivate. You need something to uplift the mood. And what's better way to uplift the mood at United than the next crop of Carrington to show that maybe they can help coast and wave, kind of what's the wording here? To help ride the storm. He wanted to talk about the storm. What better way to ride the storm than with the academy kids, what the club is built upon to help ride the storm? While we have to go through all this financial crisis until we can get maybe the money into a decent condition and then really go spend on players. Because in the summer we will spend money, but we shouldn't really spend too much money. Because yes, I know this team needs investment and stuff like that, but let's be real. It's very in the market. The odds of you hitting a perfect home run and not striking out, not even swinging and missing once, is very, very slim, especially for Manchester United, which we all know the history of recruitment and how bad it is. So, in my opinion, I think youth is what really can save his job. I'm not saying you guys are going to be perfect, but you need something to help motivate the fans. Because right now, every single fan's depressed. There's not a single fan that's happy right now. So that's the only way for me to do it. You need to. In my opinion, some of the solutions, obviously, like I said, is Cheeto. And honestly, Cheeto's probably too young to play football, in my opinion, at the first team level. I think he's way too young to be thrown in this situation. But at the end of the day, Hoyland's giving you nothing. Xerxes gives you something then and there. And Hoyland, it's not all just Hoyland's fault. It's clear. His confidence is in the gutter. He's not doing a single thing right. Even in the past, when we questioned his technical ability, all that kind of stuff, what's it called? His little glimpses of something. He showed the glimpses that you maybe could buy into something. There's nothing there right now. In my opinion, he either needs a loan, probably needs to leave Manchester United and go find he's still young enough to go find his career somewhere else. He's only 21, 22 years old. Trust me, there's plenty of places you could go in and help rejuvenate your career. It's not the end of the world, but it's not going to be at Manchester United. And this is why I always say Never recruit young in certain positions. And in my opinion, striker is one of them at a big club. You don't go young at striker at a big club unless said young striker is basically your Hollands of the world where they're built already. They've played at the top level for 3-4 years now. They know what it takes. They're generational type. Holland wasn't that. So yeah. When Cheeto, yeah, bro, you need something to motivate. There needs to be some level of motivation, man. It needs to happen. In my opinion, I do think this crop of Carrington kids is good enough to help, not really ride the wave for too much. But at the end of the day, they're still kids and stuff like that, and they're gonna be walking into a dressing room and personnel, which is not really the best, but they have hunger. And you know what? Sometimes that might just be enough to get a couple good results. So in my opinion, I think Ipswich is the perfect game because Ipswich is not the best of teams right now. The game is at Old Trafford, so it's not an away game, so the fans will be behind the kids and stuff like that. There's no baggage for them. Now's the perfect opportunity for me. For someone like Cheeto, for someone like Sekou Koné to really get their first team, to get their first starting debut. I genuinely think that's when needs to happen. I was gonna say so maybe at right wing back, but I think the one that everyone talks about Montado, I think he's injured right now, so not really him. So yeah, man. Because let's be real, you've basically taken some of these players out from the under 21s. Cheeto is not playing for under 21s anymore. Neither is Sekou Koné. So if they're not going to play under 21s to help their development because they're still young enough to be playing under 21s football and it can still really help them, then you have to play them in the first team because them riding the bench does nothing for their development. You've taken them out of the fire. You've taken them out of that. So either play them or don't put them in the or don't put them on the bench, man. Put someone else. You need to play them. Sometimes I feel like that fans thinks all young, but yeah, obviously they're really not, man. I think because obviously and Amram, based on what he did at Sporting, has shown that he could be the manager for this. He gave that kind of experience to the players at Sporting when he really needed to. So now do that. I understand the risk is much higher at Manchester United than playing young players at Sporting. Everything will be micromanaged. Everything will be viewed upon different. But if you really, in my opinion, want to earn more love from the fans, there's nothing better than playing the young kids, bro. There's generally nothing more. I understand it's panic stations. He wants to win. In my opinion, I think he's already gotten into I have to win matches now. It's no longer about the performance. It's about winning matches, which is really not a good it's also really not a good side to take right now because yes, results are a point we're 15th place, but at least if the performances were better and we're losing matches, we're drawing, there would be more sympathy. But we're not playing good and we're not winning. That's where really the loss of sympathy comes from me, in my opinion. And then, yeah, so are you completely out on him? I'm not completely out on him. I just don't think that I never really thought of him as a because all right, I'm gonna be real. When it came to Amarim, he wasn't anywhere near my top list in the summer. Y'all know who my top picks were in the summer. I wanted Tuchel. I wanted McKenna. Those were kind of probably I wanted obviously Nagelsmann and stuff like that. I wasn't high on De Zerbi, even though honestly it might be realistic to say that De Zerbi is a better manager than Amarim. But I really wasn't high on them. But I was high on McKenna. Those are the guys I wanted. We didn't get them, so we kept it in hog. The reason I was okay with the Amarim appointment, and my first initial was meh, but I was happy that INEOS addressed it quickly. That they kind of already had a vision of who they wanted after Ten Hag. But then now that I really think about it, he was available in the summer, and he wasn't anywhere near the top of the short list. Thomas Frank was ahead of him. Marco Silva was ahead of him. But then you sacked Ten Hag, and all of a sudden, Amarim's your top target. But he wasn't in the summer when you were basically interviewing every single coach around Europe that was available. And he was available in the summer. So how did this happen? And based on like news and stuff like that, it looks like Barada just basically made the boss call and said, I want Amarim. Because I think maybe Amarim was maybe closer to the top of the list at City, especially with vision that maybe a Ruben Viana would come in from Sporting and stuff like that. But that's where it feels like it just felt like Amarim was never really a top choice at United. And all of a sudden, he got thrust into that top choice. Like, for me, it makes no sense. And now, when you really look at him, I can tell why. Like, I think tactically, I think even confidence, bro. The guy looks defeated, and in my opinion, pressure wise, he started really wanting pressures and stuff like that. But now it's like in this time, in these times when you as a manager, when you're giving a presser, you really need to motivate your players and you need to like uplift their spirits. And in my opinion, he is very right now, he has a very defeatist mentality. And that's not the way to go about this. I understand it's obviously tough being the manager, all the pressure on you, all that kind of stuff. And I would feel the same. I would feel as defeated as him. But you got to understand where you are and what club you're at. He has a very defeatist approach. He's very real, which obviously I'm never gonna discredit someone for being real and voicing their first thought. I'm someone that has no filter. I just say whatever I want, so that's fine. But I'm also not in front of millions and millions of fans and have to navigate with PR talk and the media talk and have to say the right things and all that kind of stuff. And like I circled back to these comments last week saying you're the worst Manchester United team ever. Yes, we do think that, but you think your players want to hear that? They don't. It's very, very bad because you at the end of the day you have to do man management. And people keep talking about, oh, just got the whole squad. At the end of the day, a whole squad can't get gutted unless you're Chelsea and you have about £1 billion to spend for free with no repercussions, with no short-term repercussions, right? We don't have that. We have to navigate very wise in the market. There's a good chance, for example, Casemiro, bro. If we could, we would get rid of Casemiro tomorrow, but we can't. So he'll probably be here next year. So it's like a bunch of these guys are still going to be here next year. Yeah, some people will leave. Marcus Rashford will leave. Anthony will probably leave. Christian Eriksen's leaving. Victor Lindelof is leaving. Maybe one of the two strikers goes. Jadon Sancho will permanently be gone. But there's still going to be people here. It's a lot of these same players. So, yeah, man, he's in a very tough situation, but I think everyone makes sense. Pajita said here, there's no single person to blame. It's a collective blaming effort. I said this last week. You cannot be 15th or 16th, whatever we were, and the blame only goes on one person. It's every single person involved within this football club on a footballing operations level. It's the ownership fault from the Glazers to INEOS. It's from the boardroom level to Baradas to the Ashworths to the Wilcoxes. It's the manager's fault for maybe tactically and maybe not always setting up his team correctly. It's the players' fault for sometimes making the same mistakes, not approaching the game the right way, all that kind of stuff. It's mentally not really always being up for it because in the big games against Liverpool and Arsenal, you showed up, but games like Southampton, half the time you look like you can't be asked. It's a whole collective effort. It's a whole collective blaming issue right here. Everyone needs to get blamed. But one thing I don't like, but honestly, I'm not even talking about that. I talked about the whole manager and taking accountability stuff last week, whatever. That I don't want to talk about that. I don't like repeating myself. But yeah, man, I think it's a really big issue that Man United right now. And honestly, I don't think they can really. I think honestly, I feel like currently speaking, I don't know when we're going to see Man United be good again. I don't like people always say there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's always something to be optimistic for. I don't really think there's anything at Manchester United right now to be optimistic about. There's generally nothing. Hold on a second. I'm getting messages from work. So at the end of the day, I don't know what United can do. It's just we can't spend our way out of trouble anymore like we used to. In the beginning years after Fergie, where we just threw money and hoped that it stuck. We can't do that anymore. So yeah, man. Yeah, obviously I don't think Ashworth wanted what's his name? Amarim. I don't know if Wilcox wanted Amarim. 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. I don't know, man. Signings. Yeah, also another thing with Amarim is looking at what we've seen over the past 5-6 months, right? In the summer, we'll probably spend around 150 to 200 mil. Do you think right now, after what you've seen, do you believe that he really deserves 200 mil to be spent on him? Do you really think that he deserves 200 mil to be spent on him? Are you confident that it won't? Unless obviously United's recruiting strategy is to just recruit really good players, regardless of formation, and that just fit. But in this formation, you need. Was it a ref? No, not really. I don't think that's not really a red flag for me. I think certain managers just don't fit certain clubs. Um, so I don't know if it's a red flag or not. It really doesn't. It really doesn't bother me. Um, unless like obviously it depend like on the reason. Like for example, when not Ajax, Spurs rejected Ten Hag because of like lack of charisma and stuff like that. That should have been a red flag. I don't know the exact reasons why clubs didn't pick Amorim. Like apparently for Liverpool, Liverpool picked their manager based off data and stuff like that. And for example, Amorim was really high on injuries, like in terms of he doesn't really get many players injured, even though somehow we got 4 players injured in a training session and stuff like that. But it's I don't really know. It's not a green flag. It's not a red flag. It's maybe like a yellow flag, something like that. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. 100% he should get the money. We've seen how impactful Dorgo has been. Imagine just bringing 2-3 players that have that impact. Depends on the position, I guess. I don't know, man. I look at him tactically and I don't like it. I'm gonna be real. I don't like what I've seen tactically over the past month and a half, and I generally don't think it's only a personnel issue. I really don't, because Staffy hates that I always bring this up, but I've seen some of my boys on the football content scene that really do tactical analysis a lot. They have more access to stuff like that than I do. And that game against Atalanta, and I remember watching the game against Atalanta in the Europa League because it was a very fascinating matchup. It's a game you want to see. Sporting versus Atalanta, two of the best 3-back managers in world football, and Gasperini and Amorim. You want to see the matchup. And in my opinion, Atalanta demolished them tactically. It was a mismatch. And a key reason why was the man-to-man press and the physicality. And in the Premier League, when you're playing in the most physical league in football, and a lot of teams do man-to-man pressing, you can tell why we're getting suffocated and how weak and how easily exploitable this system is. For example, Crystal Palace, who, yes, maybe you could argue have a better squad. It's not really a much better squad, but you see they play a very similar system in Glasner and Amorim, and even maybe like Akira McKenna. But forget about McKenna right now. It's Amorim and Glasner. You look how much better Palace look, and they play a similar system. And you saw the way that they nullified us when they came to Old Trafford. I think his tactics are very, very weak. And one of the reasons I was maybe a little behind Aaron was because as he was leaving Sporting, he's like, I really have to adjust and I have to play different. It's the Premier League. It's a whole new level. I have to really improve my tactics. But then a couple months into the job, he's like, he said, I only view football one way, and that's the way I'm going to play. But you weren't saying that before you got the job, but now you're saying that. That for me, Andy, we're talking about red flags. That's a red flag. When you talk about formation doesn't matter. It's the principles. But I'm still seeing the same. I'm still seeing the same formation. I'm not really seeing any evolving in tactics. People try to give him credit on Saturday for bringing on Garnacho off the bench and changing the game. Why wasn't Garnacho starting in the first place? You are playing in the Premier League. You need as many attackers as you could get, but you bench your only winger to what? Play a 9.5 and an H/10 in the 10s in the Premier League. It's not going to work. So for me, I think it's naivety when I'm looking at it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not trying to see Ederson at United. If this is the system, crying out for technicians in midfield, I'm not opposed to Ederson. I think Ederson's really, really good. I think he's just a more technical. I think he's a much better version of Ugarte. Is he the perfect midfielder? No. And another issue is with the system is the midfield. I don't see a long-term midfield in the system. So again, this is when I'm talking about with Amrin. The angle is clear. I don't think he was ever going to be a manager that wins the Premier League with Manchester United. But even in the short term, when I look at tactically, how does this team really, really improve? And is he the guy to even take United back into maybe consensus top 6? I don't think he's the guy tactically. I really, really don't. Because when I compare it to tacticians in the Premier League, you obviously have your Pep, your Arteta slot. No doubt, not better than them. When you look at Unai Emery's a much better tactician than Ruben Amorim. When you look at Eddie Howe, my opinion is a better tactician. Because when we talk about adjusting the personnel, Eddie Howe, when he took over Newcastle had 0 wins in the Premier League. 0 wins. They finished that season, I believe, in 11th. And he got hired in December. That's coaching. Maresca, honestly, I think he could. Maybe he's the better tactician. I think Maresca's whack. So, yeah, whatever. Ange, probably similar level. Who else is high up in the fucking Premier League? I don't think he's a better tactician than Glasner right now. I don't think he's a better tactician than Marco Silva. Thomas Frank. It's yeah, man. Iraola, no shot. That's the problem. You again move away from DOF, the director of scouting, I guess, to decide the system and basically hand the keys to the coach. Yeah. INEOS should just recruit for the team, sign versatile players. We don't know if INEOS truly Amorim. He's only on a 2-year contract, so they didn't even believe that much in him. So yeah, man. In my opinion, I think recruitment is you just go sign really good. You just go sign good players. Honestly, you forget about system, forget about profiles. Just go sign really good players. Sign the Dorgus, the physical, young. If you want to go young route, make sure they have amazing physical tools and they have a solid technical base which you can improve upon. That's what you need to go do. For example, whether Amorim lasts or not, you go get Quenda. You go make signings like that. Why are United fans so impatient? Impatient. We must be the most toxic fan base. It's not that I'm impatient, because, like I mentioned, if Amorim was giving me something to believe in, I wouldn't care. I'd continue backing him. And in the beginning, he did show me some things, but then he shied away from it. And then another thing is, because people, I don't want to talk about it. I'm trying to not talk about it, but it's like the way that you're handling egos. Because let's be real, if you want this formation and the system to work, you're gonna need some of the best of the best, and the best of the best have egos. Can he manage that? Because my issue, it's not just Amorim, by the way, it's a lot of young coaches. They don't know how to manage top players. They don't know how to connect with top players, because managers think that they're like the final boss in a way. That they're the main character. Because I said this on Saturday too. I said people that are manager over players and stuff like that, I understand sometimes, but I'm also like this. It's not managers that make you connected to a football club. It's the players that make you connected to the football club. It's the players that give you the excitement. It's the players, because Sir Alex Ferguson is the greatest coach of all, one of the greatest managers of all time, if not the greatest manager of all time. If you ask any United fan, is he the reason they're supporting the football, that they're supporting Man United? No, it's maybe in the older guys, it's the Cantonas, it's the Giggs, it's the Scholes, it's the Beckhams. For my generation, it's the Ronaldos, the Rooneys, the Nanis, the Van Persies, the Berbatov, the Tevezes, all them kind of guys like United. The Carricks. It's not the manager. And in my opinion, I don't really think. Well, yeah, Arsenal fans apparently would be looking up to Arteta. They're different. They're a whole different breed over there. But yeah, man, it's really, really annoying in terms of how they're just kind of like it's manager over players, all that kind of stuff. I've always been players over manager in a way, because at the end of the day, great players can cover up for a bad manager at big clubs. Good managers can't cover up for bad players. That's clearly evident. So yeah, I think the connection between players and managers in current football, I think, is at an all-time low. I don't think these guys know how to connect. And Ole wasn't my cup of tea, but the best thing about him was his ability to connect with players, and how, like, Varane talked about it and stuff like that. And he talked about the being too rigid, and the system is everything. The system is boss. The system is never boss. The system is never the main thing. It's always the players. The players make the system. The system doesn't make the players, in my opinion. It's always the players make the system. That's how it needs to be in football. The players make the system. And with INEOS, it's not about elevating these guys and covering up for these guys and papering over cracks. No. What INEOS's plan needed to be was recruit good players and then just herd out the weak, regardless if the coach is getting the best out of them. For example, I said United should hire Thomas Tuchel. Why? Because in my opinion, he can turn water into wine. And it's not just about, in my opinion, I think Thomas Tuchel is someone that you spend 250, 300 million on. Why? Because he elevates everyone. And if Thomas Tuchel came in, people say, oh, but Thomas Tuchel's short term because he'd paper over the cracks and he'd elevate the squad and no one would sell. No. If that's the case, that's not on the coach. That's an ownership problem because the best of the coaches elevate everyone around them. But regardless if they elevate everyone around them, the bad ones still get sold and you replace the weaker players for the better players, no matter what. That's the way I think football should be viewed upon and how plans should be implemented. It's not about elevating players. For example, at United is seen as a negative. Like the coach getting the best out of the players. They say Thomas Tuchel would come in and get better out of these players, and they never get sold. That shouldn't be a coaching. That should never be a negative on the coach. Saying something negative about a coach is that they improve players and they get the best out of them. That's a negative. If that's a negative, pack up the sport. You just can't do that. Great coaches elevate players, but then when you have a good coach as an ownership group, how do you back them? Yeah, these players, right? But you sell those players that you honestly don't, because every coach will elevate a player, but they could also tell if they're good or not. And you just herd out the weak and you replace with strong. It's like kind of like evolution on the Charles Darwin. Survival of the fittest. A lot of people, the only ones that will survive are the ones that are the best. That's how it be. Yes, obviously, having a good system is still key. You can't have a shit system and still win football. And that's not how it works. And a system is also meant to cover the thing. A system is also meant to cover up a player's weaknesses and elevate their strengths. But the elites, like you mentioned, the elites, for example, Real Madrid, no one can really explain Real Madrid's system. They can't, but it still works because Carlo Ancelotti understands what his players need. And he's also such a good manager that players will sacrifice for him. That in order to win, for the system to work and for the best to thrive and for the best chance to win, they'll sacrifice. For example, Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham understands if Real Madrid want to win, Mbappe, Rodrigo, Vinny needs to be in full cohesion, and for that requires him to be a little bit less attacking and be more defensive minded, do more of the dirty work, all that kind of stuff. Rodrigo understands, for example, for Mbappe and Vinny are the stars. Don't forget him though, but they're the game changers. They're the ultimate ones. So he sacrificed a little in his game to help. To help them elevate and for them to be the match winners that they are. In the Fergie days, the Rooney's sacrificed for the Ronaldo. That's how it works in managers. And I think the best coaches, and I think the reason why coaching and football has taken a downturn is because we always keep focusing on tactics, but we never focus on player relationships, player relations, the sacrifice, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of devolved. Yeah, of course, Real Madrid are on a different level than us, and they have much better players. But I'd keep saying this: players make the system. System doesn't make players. Because you could have the greatest system in the world, but sometimes you don't have the players. You also need to elevate your players at the same time. And if you have a system that doesn't fit any single player, you adapt a little bit, but you still stick by your principles. And in my opinion, I think right now Amorim's principles are not that good. I just don't like them. Tactically, I just don't. The more and more I watch him tactically, I don't. Pep down right now because he doesn't have he lacks the players. But also, you could also say this, JJ. Pep's not adapting to his players either, and he's been so rigid. For example, the game at the Bernabeu. What in the right world made Pep think that was the right approach? Because he basically threw kids into the fire, bro. He threw them to the wolves. Kusanov, Marmoush, Nico Gonzalez, they got thrown into the wolves, bro. So, and in my opinion, that's the issue with and that's why I said Pep. Pep's the greatest tactician of all time. He's the greatest coach of all time. But he inspired a generation of coaches, in my opinion, that made football for the worse. I respect Pep and whatever he's done, but I think you see the best of coaches is also the likes of Ancelotti, even Arne Slot, the way that you saw he adapted to his players, for example. And you see why also the rigidity and the stubbornness and the bad man management. A reason why Jose Mourinho, in my opinion, has become more washed way faster than he declined. It's, in my opinion, I think it's part of his inability to relate to his players and stuff like that, and not adapt with the times. It's not the same level. It's not the same player. Players don't have the same mentalities as they did 20 years ago. Players are going to be a little bit more free now. They're going to be a little bit more charismatic. It's like that. I do think Aaron makes it to the end of the season only because I don't think INEOS can generally afford to sack him and his whole staff. He's going to be given a summer. Whether I want to give him a summer or not, I do think he'll be given a summer. And then we'll go from there. And hopefully, I'm wrong. Hopefully, if he gets a few players that fit the system, that are really good, he can really implement his tactics look a lot better and stuff like that. And maybe I was wrong. And I hope I'm wrong. There's no problem with being wrong, especially when it comes to doing this. No, you're not blocked. I'm just going on a tangent right now. So I hope I'm wrong. I might be, I might not be. I don't know. The future will tell. But right now, in my opinion, I don't think he's good tactically. And another thing I don't like is United fans that also get onto people for dissing Amorim and not believing in him. He doesn't give anyone anything to believe in. You can't be mad at people. I understand you want to blame the players and everything like that. That's fine. You do you. You do your own shit. But at the same time, I can't be criticized for not liking him and for not wanting to give him a summer, all that kind of stuff, because I don't believe in him. I don't believe in this coach. I really don't. He's giving me nothing to believe into. Tactically, management-wise, all that kind of stuff. I don't really see it. So if I don't believe it, I'm going to say it, regardless of whatever happens. I had to mute about 5 tweets on Saturday. I don't care. I really don't care. I just muted them because I got tired of seeing 20 notifications pop up on my Twitter every 5 seconds. I don't care. Pep is not able to adapt to the players. True, definitely, but hard for me to doubt his system. Yeah, but even then, I think, Judge, in my opinion, I think Pep has been very mid tactically over the past couple of years. I think player recruitment at City is the main reason why. But again, that shows you, bro, it's players. Players make up for shit tactics. Do you rate Lookman as central replacement? Maybe. I wouldn't be opposed to Ademola Lookman. I think he could do much better than Man United, though. So, yeah. His vibes can take team. You got vibes. Absolutely. You need vibes, bro. No matter what at a team, you need vibes. You need to have a good environment. If you have a bad environment, you're not going to win anything. There's not a single football club in the history of football that has ever won anything in a bad environment. It is generally impossible for it to happen. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. You need to improve the environment. And like I said, in my opinion, and an environment does not just mean the locker room. It's the whole club as a whole, bro. Fans are just depressed. Man United fans are no longer angry. We've reached way past anger. We're just depressed. We're just sad. We're just dead. We're basically dead inside. We're like walking zombies. That's what it feels like. Old Trafford is a haunted house. Old Trafford is a haunted house. That's all it is right now. And it doesn't haunt the opposition. It haunts its own. The energy at this club is drained. And it's not his fault. It's a lot of people's fault. Chris Woodakis. So yeah, man, it's bad, bro. But yeah, guys, we did about an hour. Unless you guys want anything else to talk about that is not United related, I have no problem doing that. Day off today, don't have much to talk about. But yeah, that's pretty much it on United, man. It's all I can really talk about without getting more and more depressed. Four is doing nothing. You know, they lose to Newcastle a couple of days ago, and Arsenal Football Club. One second. All right. Arsenal lost. Honestly, I was at work when the game happened on Saturday, so I was expecting to just put what's it called? Click on FootMob and see Arsenal won. Then I see 1-0 loss. I'm like, oh, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's actually hilarious. In my opinion, I think it's time they cut ties with Arteta. And in my opinion, I think it's the reason why Arsenal did not win the Premier League this year. It's a club, it's a manager and a club fault. They're what's it called? Their plan for recruitment and their recruitment strategy this summer was absolutely diabolical. It's absolutely diabolical in my opinion. I think it's generally their fault why. Yeah, they're on some 90s Buffalo. Bro, finishing third 3 years in a row is crazy. That's actually generally crazy. That's absolutely ridiculous. I don't remember the last time that's happened in the Premier League. I really don't. It's very, very hard to do. And I don't think it's a player fault. I really think it's a coaching fault. I think his negativeness towards games. And yeah, they can talk about referees all they want. Yes, I agree. The refs have robbed them on some points this year, but in my opinion, I said third. I'm at second. Finishing second 3 years in a row. To finish second 3 years in a row is absolutely crazy. But in my opinion, I think it's his fault. I think Odegaard as your captain is not good either. And I think Arsenal will be fine for years to come. They have a lot of good young talent and stuff like that. They'll be fine in terms of that. But I do think they need a better coach. I don't know who that coach is going to be, but they've shown that they have a good squad, that they can recruit a top coach. I don't know who that may be. Obviously, I think someone like Xabi Alonso would have been good for them, but obviously he's probably going to Madrid next. I don't think they can tempt Simone Inzaghi. It's the thing that makes replacing Arteta tough is how many better managers are there out there that would generally join Arsenal right now. That's the other issue. That's generally the other issue. Like, for example, Iraola, right? Iraola is probably going to be one of the hottest names on the managerial market. Is he generally an upgrade over Arteta? Can you, what's it called? For example, can you explain as a football? Can Arsenal Football Club explain and correct way why Iraola can replace? Can they justify it? For example, that's the word I'm meant to say. Can they justify replacing Arteta for Iraola and stuff like that? That's the issue. It's very, very difficult for them. But yeah, man, it's wow. It's funny. Obviously, I wish that they could win the league because I don't want to see Liverpool get number 20. But I also have to laugh at some point. I also have to laugh because I laugh at Arsenal fans mostly because when I really look at it, their fans are very, very arrogant, and it's unwarranted arrogance. It's arrogance that they do not deserve to have. For example, when they were kind of dismissive of Liverpool and said, "Oh, City are still the main threat." No disrespect, but Liverpool have a core that has won a Champions League, that has won a Premier League, that has been to the Champions League finals, that has won multiple domestic trophies. The way that they were just sidetracking that and throwing it to the side, being like Liverpool are not built for this. Please remember who Liverpool have. Liverpool have the best defender in the Premier League. Liverpool have the best player in the Premier League. They have the best goalkeeper in the league. They have a coach that actually knows how to win. The coach did win the league title. And they might have to give them a guard of honor in May. They're lucky it's not going to be at Emirates. It's going to be at Anfield. So it's not going to suck as much. But, yeah, man, I think it was unwarranted arrogance. Man, at the end of the day, Arsenal fans have to hold that. I think they're a good team. I think Arteta's a good coach at the end of the day. But in my opinion, I think Arteta's own demise was himself. It wasn't anyone else but him. I think Simon asked about Greece. Greece qualifier. I don't know. We'll find out, bro. I think qualifiers start in March. So we'll see. If I'm off for a game, I don't think I will be, to be honest. But if I'm off for a game, I'll do a watch along for it. But yeah, we'll see. I even forgot what my group was. I think I have Germany in my group though. I think who else do I have in my group? Yeah, man. And Salah is snatching Henry's 2020. Yeah, he is. Oh. And I've seen a lot of like debate about Salah on my timeline the past 24 hours. Apparently he cooked against City. Liverpool fans are gonna obviously with the season that Salah's gonna end up having, which is he's probably gonna break the all-time assist record. He might break the all-time goal scoring record, and he's gonna win the Premier League. He's gonna win the PFA Player of the Year. They might just also win the Champions League. It's gonna be one of the greatest seasons in football history. I still don't think Salah's the greatest Premier League player of all time. I still do think that belongs to Titi Henry. And I also still don't think that Salah peaked higher than Cristiano Ronaldo in the league, in my opinion. That's just me, though. That's just me. But he's having a great season. And Mohamed Salah is a great all-timer. In my opinion, whether you think Hatcher's a better player or not, Salah has the better Premier League legacy. He does. It's just how it's going to go. Yeah, man. Footy hype though, bro. It's footy hype, man. It's United really depressed me. Well, I'm gonna watch United finish like 15th. I'm gonna watch Liverpool win the league. At least Man City are not good. But yeah, man, it's just sad, bro. It's just sad. If Liverpool do a Premier League Champions League double, we're so cooked, bro. We're so cooked, man. So cooked. But what can you do, man? What can you do? But yeah. That's pretty much it, people. We did about an hour. Yeah, he's not the goal player, but he's an all-time great. Of course, Mohamed Salah. You cannot say Mohamed Salah's not an all-time great. You just can't do that, bro. You just can't. But yeah, man. I appreciate you guys. It's been an hour, about maximum about 20 watch. I don't know how many likes we're at. If we hit like 12, 13 likes, it's calm. And yeah, man. I know I haven't been posting as much, but life is life at the end of the day. Work, all that kind of stuff, and I'm out the crib at 9 a.m. I'm back home by like 8 p.m. It's been a long day. So, yeah, man. You too, Vader. You too, man. Manchester's drowning right now. I'm drowning a little more than you. I'm in the really deep end. You're still like you're drowning a little bit, but yeah, man. Yeah, we have nothing left, bro. Here's GG, man. Here's GG. He's the best player they've ever had. Where's Mohamed Salah? Yeah. I think Mohamed Salah played it. I think Mohamed Salah has played his position better than Steven Gerrard did. I'll say that. And he also has the accolades. But my biggest debate is, the Mohamed Salah play right winger at a higher level than Virgil van Dijk has played center back at a high level. That's the bigger debate in my opinion. I think it's between them two, but I think both of them are better than Steven Gerrard, in my opinion. They can say Gerrard didn't play with a better team, yada yada yada. I don't give a shit, man. Gerrard hype, but anyway. I'll catch you guys probably Wednesday after the United game, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, we'll chat later. Enjoy your Monday. Peace.